Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video because I am picking up sort of a little series I did on my channel about 2 years ago where I would compare and contrast different Evan-Moor workbooks. And if you guys have followed my channel for a while and our homeschooling journey for a while, you would have seen quite a few Evan-Moor resources that we have used over the years and that we are continuing to use going into 8th grade this fall. So in my own kind of 8th grade prep journey, I was trying to find what I wanted to use for grammar and punctuation. And so I knew we loved the language fundamentals from Evan-Moor because we've used the level 5 in the past. And so I was like, well, do I want to use grade 6? Well, when I was doing research for that, I stumbled upon the Evan-Moor grammar and punctuation. And so I was like, well, what's the difference? What are the pros of one versus the other? So I figured, since I myself had that question and kind of was doing my own research, that I would share it with you guys because I know a lot of you all love Evan-Moor as well, or you're looking for a really thorough and comprehensive curriculum that is very affordable, and Evan-Moor checks off all those boxes. Now, before we go any farther, I want to disclaim by saying, and I talked about this in my 8th grade curriculum choices video, which has already gone up by now. Yes, it says grade 6 on both of these. You would have noticed in that 8th grade curriculum choices video, some things said grade 6, some things are, higher, whatever. I'm not too stringent about that, about like grade level, like even though she's going into 8th grade and this says grade 6, there are certain subjects in particular, grammar and punctuation being one of them, that I have found it doesn't make a huge difference in what the grade is. I really just wanted a solid grammar and punctuation curriculum that was not too much. It was actually focusing on the stuff that you're going to use in your day-to-day life forever. And I feel like that's exactly what both of these books offer, but I still wanted to know the difference, and even just the size difference. Like, this is obviously quite a bit larger than this one. So very long-winded way to say that I'm going to be kind of comparing and contrasting these two books. I've done this before with other Evan-Moor resources because they have so many, and sometimes you get on their website and you're like, what's the difference? They look really similar. So I know I've done it before with their science, and I don't know, a bunch of other videos that I've done for them to really help you guys figure out like which resource would be the best for you. So that's what I'm doing today. So I typed up my notes. I have kind of like a little cheat sheet for myself that I can look at. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm gonna be looking at. Make sure if you haven't already that you check out my 8th grade curriculum choices video. Like I said, it's already gone up. That way you can see what else we're gonna be doing over and above the Evan-Moor grammar curriculum. So history and math and science and all that good stuff, you'll see that in that video. So I will link it for you. Let's get into the nitty-gritty about the language fundamentals versus the grammar and punctuation from Evan-Moor. Okay, so we're gonna start with the smaller book, the grammar and punctuation. There are books for grades 1 through 6, and like I said, I wouldn't get too hung up on that grade 6. There are ebook and print options for both of these books, so if you're the type of person that just would prefer to download it and print it off at home, that's fine. Otherwise, you can purchase the books. Both books are less than $30. So really, still, whichever one you pick, you can't really go wrong budget-wise. They're very, very affordable. So in this book, this is set up, if you've ever done their daily trait writing, it reminds me of that because there are certain rules that you're learning and then worksheets that go along with those rules. So in this book, there are 25 grammar and punctuation rules. So let's just say we'll start at rule 20. So this rule is commas and colons are used in specific instances, and it gives some instances. So between the day of the month and the year, between the name of a city and state, province, or country, and after the greeting and closing in a friendly letter, and then it gives examples. And then down here, it says colons are used and gives some examples. So this page I really like because not only is it gonna be useful to you and your child to do the worksheets that are related to that, but also if you really wanted to, you could pull these out, laminate them, and make them into little wall posters. You could pull them out and put them in a little binder and kind of keep a handy list of all of the rules that they are learning, and they can use it for quick reference in the future. So I love that. So this is rule 20, and so then you'll have 3 worksheets for each rule to give you extra practice for how to use those different rules. So here you are punctuating a friendly letter using commas and colons. Here you're punctuating a schedule of events, again using the commas and colons. And then at the 3rd page in this particular rule, there is which one do you need, a comma or a colon, and then you'll fill out the worksheet. So every rule has 3 practice worksheets. That may be enough. You may not need any more. That may be just exactly what you wanted. You may feel like it's not enough. That's the only thing I will say about this. There are only 3 worksheets with each topic being covered. So because the lessons are short and sweet, it's perfect for review. It's perfect if you're starting out. Obviously you wouldn't be starting out probably in level 6, but if you're starting out with a younger child, like levels 1 and 2, it's really nice because maybe you don't want to do grammar and punctuation every day of the week. Maybe you just want to kind of keep, easing your way in, doing a page every day or so. It's also really good for review of an older child, so I can definitely see the benefits of the lessons being really brief for a variety of reasons. But I feel like it does hit on pretty much the basics that you need to know. So you have different types of sentences, subjects and predicates, common nouns, proper nouns, singular and plural, verbs and verb tenses, forming verb tenses, pronouns. There's even talk of pronouns and antecedents, which I know antecedents are usually a little bit of a something you don't always see with every grammar curriculum. I don't know if the antecedents are in the lower levels, but at least in grade 6, you're hitting that, which I know is something that we have seen comparatively with a higher level of grammar curriculum from a different company. They talked about antecedents. That's one of those things that's like, a little bit more higher level. Prepositions, commas, quotation marks, word uses, adjectives. I mean, pretty much all the basics you would need are in this book. But like I said, it is a shorter book. There are 25 rules introduced and 3 worksheets for each rule. So you decide if that's too much or just enough or perfect for review. That's one thing that's really good about this book. It's not overwhelming. Now one difference between this book and the Language Fundamentals is Language Fundamentals has a review every, sort of at the end of each section. This book does have a review, but it's only at the end, and it's a cumulative review of everything you've done in the entire book. So you have to get to the very end before you're actually going to have, a quiz or a test, however you want to word it, a review. So if you're wanting more daily grades or weekly grades, then you're going to have to use the worksheets and grade those and kind of count those as your grade. That's up to you. I know some people don't grade at all. So just kind of throwing that out there that you do have a review, but it's at the very end after you've done all 25 of the rules and all the worksheets relating to those rules. You do have your review at the end. One thing I really appreciate, which both books have an answer key, which seems obvious, but I have done curriculum before that I bought and got into with my kids, and then like, wait, why is there no answer key? And like, it's not that I can't punctuate, but I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. And also it saves me time if I have an answer key. So both of these workbooks do have an answer key, so don't worry about that. One bonus I really appreciate about the grammar and punctuation book is there's a section at the back that says notes to the teacher. And basically these are just a section. There may be a couple rules or instances where you might want to further explain a certain punctuation or grammar rule, and there's little notes here that tell you. So, for example, Rule 20, page 79, it says, in running text, a comma follows as well as precedes both the year and the state, province, or country, and it gives an example. So just a little extra tidbit of information to maybe exceptions to the rule, or a little bit more information you might need about certain rules and concepts. Not every rule has one of these little extra notes to the teacher, but there are some that do, and so I think that's really useful to you as the teacher. So that is pretty much the grammar and punctuation in a nutshell. Short and sweet, to the point. I feel like it's very thorough. It lays a really strong foundation or offers a lot of great review, but definitely shorter than what you're going to find in Language Fundamentals. You can just tell by the weightiness of it, definitely a bigger book. So again, it's less than $30, just like grammar and punctuation. It focuses on a lot of the same basic concepts and then adds a lot more. So you've got your parts of speech, your punctuation, even vocabulary is in Language Fundamentals, which is not in the other one. I also like how in the vocabulary section, there's literary terms that are explained. So like there's different types of words, like figurative language, there are homophones and hyperbole, context clues. So there's a lot, you're hitting a lot more of not just grammar and punctuation, you're getting a little bit into almost literature slash writing skills almost, as far as like learning the different types of figurative language. So I really like that about the Language Fundamentals workbook. And a little bit different too with this one, and you could probably just assume by the size, there's a lot more time spent on each concept, and you go a little bit deeper in each concept in Language Fundamentals than you do in grammar and punctuation. And like I mentioned earlier, each section in this book has a review versus the other book, which just has the review at the end. There's benefit to both, and obviously you're going to get to the end of that book a lot sooner than you would the end of this, so maybe that's why they put the reviews kind of scattered throughout. Either way though, I actually prefer having a little bit of a review more often than just one at the end. It's a little bit easier to catch some maybe negative trends, that mistakes that a child might be making. So I really appreciate that. Also, I think it'll be a lot easier to use this book for the entire year versus that one, because like I said, that one's only 25 rules and 3 worksheets for each rule. So this book is 207 pages. Within each topic, there are a lot more worksheets that are practicing that topic and going a little bit deeper within that topic than you do in grammar and punctuation. So like I said, for that reason, this book is perfect if you want review or introduction to the basic concepts. But if you want to go a little bit deeper, I think language fundamentals would be probably the way that you would want to go. I do feel like this is a lot more comprehensive, definitely more age appropriate if you have an older child and maybe you're a little hesitant to put, you know, maybe a 7th grader or an 8th grader into a grade 6 workbook. I think you'd feel a lot more confident once you flip through this and realize how much is covered and how much time is spent on each topic. I think you'll be really confident that this is a comprehensive curriculum that can definitely be used for the entire year. So there are pros and cons to both. I like them both. I have them both. You have to obviously look through and decide like which one you think is what's going to suit your needs best. There's definitely value in both of them. I just thought it would be helpful to share with you guys because I had the same question of like, what's the difference? They're both grade 6. They're both grammar and punctuation basically. You are getting a lot more for your money with the language fundamentals. You're talking about a lot more topics. You're going a lot more deeply in those topics, and you're, you know, bringing in vocabulary and literary terms and things like that. So I personally, we're going to use this one for 8th grade, but I definitely think they're both awesome options. You really can't go wrong with any Evan-Moor resource. We've used so many, and we've used science ones. We've used spelling all the way through. All their levels of spelling. We've used vocabulary. We've done their little bit of writing workbook for a while. We've done geography. We've done different continent studies. There's not been an Evan-Moor workbook that we have ever used that we have not loved. So that's one reason why I keep going back to them, because they have such great resources. They're very solid and reliable. I know exactly what I'm going to get when I use an Evan-Moor product. I know I'm going to love it. It's going to be easy to just open and go, and they're always going to be affordable. And I think that's really important, especially if you're a homeschooler who, like we do, we kind of curate what we want. Sometimes we have curriculum that's a little bit more expensive, peppered in with things that are a little bit more budget friendly, but just because it's budget friendly does not mean you're not getting a quality product, because you definitely will with Evan-Moor. So highly recommend. That's what we're going to be doing for 8th grade, and I thought I'd share that with you guys because I mentioned it in my 8th grade curriculum choices video that I would be doing this video, so I hope it's helpful. So I will link my entire homeschooling playlist for you guys. Every homeschooling video I've made in the past is in that playlist. There's like 200 of them, so I'll link that. I will also link these 2 books. One great thing about the Evan-Moor website is you can do a flip through of quite a few pages, a lot more than you can if you go on Amazon. So I'll link these 2 for you guys. You can get them on Amazon as well. That's where I usually get ours, but I'll link them for you. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.